The guy at the gas pump across from you right now is paying the exact same price per gallon that you are, but he is not burning the same fuel. He figured something out back in 1987, and he has been doing it quietly ever since. His 1994 Silverado with 340,000 miles on the clock gets better mileage today than it did when it rolled off the dealership lot. And the secret he discovered? It costs about $1, and it sits on a shelf at your local farm supply store in a plain white box. The reason you've never heard of it has nothing to do with science. It has everything to do with what happened in October of 1973, when a barrel of crude oil skyrocketed from $3 to $11 in just 90 days. And three massive chemical companies decided that was the exact moment to ensure nobody ever talked about this again. Stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll understand how your fuel economy has been artificially limited for 50 years. And I'm going to give you the exact formula a master machinist used for 4 decades without telling a soul outside his shop. But first, hit subscribe right now, because the corporate lawyers hate that this information lives here. In the spring of 1952, a man named Roy Calhoun walked into an Esso station in Oklahoma, bought a small white box of Carbonite tablets for 63 cents, and dropped 2 of them into his gas tank. He did this every other fill-up. His 1948 Studebaker got 26 miles to the gallon on the highway. His neighbor, driving the exact same car, got 18. The only difference? Those 63-cent tablets. Back then, these naphthalene-based fuel tablets weren't exotic. They were sold behind the counter at gas stations next to the fan belts. Drivers used them because they worked on basic thermodynamics. Naphthalene changes the surface tension of fuel droplets during atomization. Smaller droplets mean more surface area. More surface area means a completely efficient burn at the moment of spark. Instead of throwing unburned fuel out of your tailpipe, you extract every single ounce of energy you actually paid for. Big Oil knew this. They also knew that if drivers got high efficiency from a 63-cent box of hardware store tablets, nobody would buy their high-margin premium gasoline. And with Americans buying 20 billion gallons of fuel a year, that 9-cent premium markup was worth billions.
Now, let's bust a myth. I know what you're thinking. Wait, didn't Car Talk prove mothballs don't work? And they aren't entirely wrong. The dollar store mothballs in your grandmother's closet today are either paradichlorobenzene, which burns into hydrochloric acid and destroys your catalytic converter, or low-purity naphthalene packed with wax and chalk binders. They are not the 99% pure crystalline naphthalene tablets from 1952. That substitution wasn't an accident. Public patent records show that starting in 1963, 3 chemical companies filed overlapping patents on every viable formulation of crystalline naphthalene fuel treatments. They didn't do it to launch a better product. They did it to lock the old one in a legal vault so nobody else could manufacture it. By 1967, independent distributors were forced into bankruptcy. One holding company bought out the last manufacturer's formulas and inventory at auction for a measly $11,000. $11,000 to eliminate decades of driver efficiency. Entirely legal, entirely routine, entirely effective.
Then, October 1973 hit. The Arab oil embargo triggered a financial emergency, and gas prices spiked 45% in 90 days. People were sleeping in their cars to hold places in line at the pumps. In that crisis, old-school mechanics worked backward from the chemistry of the banned tablets to find a cheap, available alternative. Enter the acetone method. Pure acetone costs about $1 at any hardware store. When you add it to gasoline at an exact ratio of 2 ounces per 10 gallons, 2 incredible things happen. First, it acts as a surfactant, slashing the surface tension of the fuel droplets for a finer mist. Second, acetone has a laminar flame speed of 42.5 centimeters per second, much faster than regular gasoline at 33. This means the combustion completes entirely before the piston sweeps unburned fuel past the exhaust valve.
This isn't fringe science. A peer-reviewed 2013 study published by the American Chemical Society, ACS Omega, proved on a dynamometer that even low-percentage acetone blends measurably boost brake power, increase volumetric efficiency, and drop carbon monoxide emissions into the double digits. The peer-reviewed science is sitting free right now in the National Institutes of Health database. But you don't see it advertised because 2 ounces of acetone costs you just 14 cents a fill-up, while the auto parts store wants to sell you a $20 bottle of fuel additive that does absolutely nothing.
Let's talk proof. A machinist named Walter Pryor ran a one-man shop in Tulsa for over 40 years. He worked backward from oil refinery principles and used the acetone method from 1974 until 2011. He kept a strict green accounting ledger documenting 62 different vehicles over 37 years, recording every oil change, every fill-up, and every mile. Walter wasn't a guy who believed things without data. The honest, documented fuel economy improvement across all 62 vehicles landed consistently between 12% and 19%. Think about what a 12% improvement means in your driveway right now. If you get 28 mpg on the highway, you jump to over 31. If you have a 15-gallon tank, that's an extra 43 miles of range per fill-up. Over a year, it's the equivalent of getting 14 entirely free tanks of gas, all for 14 cents a pop. Interestingly, Walter noted that regular 87 octane showed the highest gains, while premium 93 saw less improvement because premium already has advanced combustion characteristics. This secret is literally built for the people buying regular gas who can least afford to waste money.
If you want this to work, you cannot make the 2 mistakes that ruin it for everyone else. Mistake 1, the ratio. It is strictly 2 ounces of acetone per 10 gallons of fuel, no more. This is a trace concentration. If you dump half a bottle in, you will attack the nitrile rubber seals or dissolve carburetor floats on vehicles built before 1986. Modern fuel-injected vehicles built after 1987 use fully compatible synthetic materials, but keep the ratio exact. Mistake 2, the timing. Sequence is everything. You must add the 2 ounces of acetone into a near-empty tank before you pump your gas, not after. The violent turbulence of the incoming fuel at the pump is what perfectly dissolves and distributes the acetone uniformly. If you pour it on top of a full tank, it just sits on the surface, feeds into your engine unevenly, and fails completely. Add it first, keep the ratio, and do it every single fill-up. The effect is cumulative and consistent over time. It is not a dramatic magic trick on the first tank. The tablets didn't disappear because they stopped working. They disappeared because they worked too well to be profitable for anyone except the driver using them. Walter Pryor figured that out from first principles in a corrugated steel shop, and he left behind 40 years of honest numbers to prove it. Now, you have the exact same information. Here is your homework. Drop a comment below with your car's year, make, model, and your current mileage. Run the 2-ounce method for 3 consecutive fill-ups, then come back and reply with your updated numbers so the skeptics can see real data from real vehicles. Hit subscribe right now, because in the next video, we are diving into what Walter's logbook revealed about a fuel injector cleaning compound that costs even less than acetone, but solves a completely different engine crisis. 2 ounces, empty tank, every fill. Start this weekend. Take your efficiency back, and I'll see you in the comments.